And we will be wrapping up with what's planned for the week. Reminding you to join other sessions that will be happening throughout. And we'll be wrapping up in 2 and a bit hours from now. So again, welcome. Excited to see you all. If we go to the next, stop. Very important. I have a wonderful co-host with me today. His name is Jack. Jack, if you don't mind introducing yourself.
Hello, everyone. It's very easily done, Sasha. I'm very skippable. Good to see everyone. Really looking forward to taking you through this evening. And yes, thank you for the introduction, Sasha. So I guess before we start the actual main show content, we've got some housekeeping to go through. So not too sure if people are familiar with Google Meet, but here are just some quick instructions as to some top tips as to how you can best navigate your way through this evening. So first and foremost, if we're not talking, please use the mute button, just so we don't get any background feedback whilst we've got various people talking, or if other people are talking. We will be going around and muting people. Don't be offended if we do that. It's just so we can actually hear the show content. It's awesome to see so many of your faces, actually, and I see some people with their cameras switched off. It would be amazing if everyone could actually just have their cameras switched on, just so we can see your amazing faces. And it's like a really good opportunity for you to meet other content creators. So let's switch on those cameras, people. Let's get those smiles on. Lovely to see you all. For the best viewing experience, we recommend using sidebar. Now, if you see on the dashboard, you can see at the bottom there are three vertical dots. So if you click on those 3 vertical dots and then just click on change layout, then select the sidebar option. So you've got auto, tiled, spotlight, or sidebar. We recommend using sidebar for this event, but feel free to use whatever you want. Chat function, I can see what everyone is using at the minute. It's so nice to see people using the chat function, sharing their channel links, like Jolly's just done there. Keep on using that to engage with people. If you want to share, like you've done, channel links, if you want to ask questions or just want to converse with one another during the actual event. Captions, if anyone has any hard of hearing guests, the closed captions function is available. You should just see the CC button down below. And last but not very least, the most important function, which actually some of you have been using already, is the raise your hand feature. So we've got various sections of the event where we've got key speakers in. They're going to be talking to you about how to do things, or a really important topic around wellness and well-being. If you've got questions, we do allow questions, particularly for the next section, a Q&A section. Just use the raise your hand feature, and I'll get I or the other members of the team will come to you, and so you can ask your questions. Jolly, I see you've got your hand up. Is that for a question, or are you just testing out that function? You're just testing out that function. You're good. Right. So we can keep to time and everything. We're going to introduce our next speaker, and in order to do that, we have a short video. Really excited for this next section. Yeah, go for it.
Dr. Ethel Nakimulu is an award-winning senior lecturer and psychiatric epidemiologist from Uganda. Her work has been towards making therapy more culturally appropriate, particularly for people living with HIV and depression. Dr. Ethel is a renowned speaker on wellness and well-being, helping to demystify innate assumptions about mental health in the region. She speaks on her journey of being on both sides of mental health care and support, and typically shows how these experiences motivated her to cultivate a culturally sensitive group talk therapy approach to help provide mental health care for HIV patients on the continent and the wider community. Dr. Ethel has won many awards, including the 2016 Elsevier Foundation Award for Early Career Women Scientists in the Developing World, and has been recognized by many, including an honor by the President of Uganda. We're delighted to be joined today by Dr. Ethel, who is going to help demystify the term mental health and provide us with the knowledge and skills to help alleviate stress.
Welcome, Dr. Ethel. I don't know if you're there, if you can come, switch your camera on and come off mute.
Hi,
Dr.
everyone.
Hey, there you are.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much, Jack, for that kind introduction. Good evening, everyone. How is everybody? How are you feeling? It's a great honor for me to speak this evening about well-being and mental health. Actually, I'm super excited because this talk, I've been giving this talk in Uganda during the lockdowns of the COVID-19 pandemic. And now this talk has crossed African borders. I'm super excited to be speaking to you. A big thank you to Google and YouTube for putting well-being of their employees on their priority list. Thank you so much. Well, welcome everybody. I can see, I want to read out some names here, but I can see Sandra, Sterling, who else? Shark and Marine TV. A very good evening to you all, ladies and gentlemen. So we're going to start with I can see Jolly. Good evening, Jolly.
Good evening.
We're going to start with a simple exercise, okay? And please, I want everyone to be active here, and we're going to use the chat box. So we're going to do a simple exercise. I want you to look at these five attributes on the screen right now. And on a scale of 0 to 100, I want you to rate yourself for these attributes. Have you realized your potential in life? How do you score on that point? You can write number 1, 90%, or 100%, or 80%. So give me some scores in the chat box. How about coping with stressful life events? How do you score there? How about nurturing deep, confiding relationships? If you're stuck on the road, your car has broken down, do you have that person who you can call and you know they're going to come for you? They're going to come and help you. Do you have that number? Do you have that person? How about making meaningful decisions that build your life? You know, how do you score on that? And lastly, are you making a meaningful contribution to your community? Thank you very much for the courage to share your scores. They're coming up so fast. I can see Stelline, 50% on number 1. Teresa, oh my God, they're coming so fast. Ivan, Grace is 80% on point 4. Frankly speaking, 80, 70, 90, 100. Very good. Otafa TV, gosh, they're coming so fast. You guys are so active. I didn't expect this. Bed sitter, 50% on number 5. Gasika Tushabe, gosh, that score has gone. Chantel, 60% on number 1, 70% on number 2. Vivian Okeki, number 4 is 50%. Spiwe, 100% on number 4. Love It Speaks. What's that? Oh gosh, they're coming so fast. The scores are coming so fast. You guys have done a wonderful, wonderful job. Vivian Okiki, number 5, 100%. T Vlogs, 1 to 5, 50%. Yes, you've done the exercise very well, people. Thank you so much for being such an active audience. And next, I'm going to share my own self-check. So I have done this self-check as well. And right there on your screen, you can see my ratings for October. You know, an average of 84%. My November has been very hard. So many assignments I can hardly keep up. You know, and score, you know, just dipped a little bit to 80%. And I can assure you, 10 years down the road, my average was, you know, more or less 50, you know, 50%. So that exercise, this exercise we've just done, is a check on our mental health. You know, something you do not just once, but regularly, you know, depending on what life is throwing at you, depending on what's happening in your life, we need to be checking on our mental health. And you can see my mental health is not 100%. So it is through the self-checking that I have discovered my weakness. And the biggest one is nurturing deep relationships. I discovered that I'm really a high achiever. I'm very ambitious, you know, in everything that I do, whether, you know, it is work, whether it is, you know, social, at home. I just want to do things to perfection and, you know, really, really, really well. And that should be okay, you know, because we all have different personalities. But my problem is that I expect everyone to be like that. You know, and if you're not like me, then you have a problem. You know, then I don't want to be with you. I don't want to connect with you. So that was my thinking way back, you know, 10 years ago. And this thought was not good. You know, this way of thinking was not helpful to me because it led me to have a very constricted network, social network. Now, you may get away with this when you're in your familiar environment, but when you move away from your familiar environment and go to a foreign land, like I did almost 10 years ago, maybe more than 10, when I went to the US to pursue my PhD studies, I was in a foreign land. My social network was back home. My husband, my children, my friends, they were not with me. And here I was with those kinds of thoughts. It didn't do me any good. And this literally pushed my mental health in the red zone. And I'll be explaining what the red zone is, but I found myself sliding into depression. And to push back this depression, I had to learn ways to change my thinking. And I had to practice those new ways, okay? So it's a daily struggle, you know, to keep in good mental health. It's a daily struggle. I had to learn to accept people the way they are, with their abilities. I had to learn to focus on the positives and not the negatives. I had to learn to explore common ground. Come on, there must be something good this person does. You know, why don't you, you know, look into that? Why are you considering what they're not? You know? So these are things I had to learn. Why? Why did I have to learn this? Because social connections are good for our mental well-being. So what is mental health then? According to the World Health Organization, mental health is a state of well-being, you know, in which an individual is able to realize their potential. They're able to cope with stressful life situations, be able to nurture deep, meaningful relationships, be able to make meaningful decisions, decisions that build you up and not bring you down, and be able to make a useful contribution to your community. So what's responsible for this state of well-being? It is our thoughts, our feelings, and the consequent behaviors, you know, the behaviors as a consequence to what we're thinking, what we're feeling. And it is our thoughts that determine the way we feel and subsequently the behavior that we put out there in the world, the behavior that we show up with. It depends on what kind of thoughts do you have. They will generate the feelings that you have right now, and all this is responsible for your behavior. So our mental health lies on a spectrum. I want you to understand this very well. Our mental health lies on a spectrum. On one hand, it is excellent, okay? On the other hand, it is poor, it is bad, okay? And on one end, we have good mental health, and on the other hand, it's bad mental health. That's when you have severe disorders, okay? So all of us lie on this spectrum. You know, all of us are lying somewhere along this line. And you can put a mark on where you feel that you lie, but we're all lying on this. Or you can look at your scores, you know, if 0 is a severe disorder and excellent is 100%, you know, so you can put a mark where you are. Now, our daily struggle is to keep to the good end. You know, we all strive to go in the green, you know. I would like my mental health to be about 90%, you know, close to 100, but I'm not yet there. So what does that mean? I have to keep learning. I have to keep learning. I have to keep, you know, learning those skills that can push my mental health to the excellent end. So it's a daily struggle. Now, what is the relationship between stress and mental health? The number one thing that pushes our mental health from the good end to the red zone, you know, from the green zone to the red zone, the number one thing is stress, okay? So I'm sure you've used this word before. You hear people use this word, oh, my boss can really stress me out. Oh, my girlfriend is stressing me out. Oh, my husband is stressing me out. We use this word, but what does stress mean? What is this word? So stress is a combination of physical, mental, and emotional reactions that you will get when the demands on you exceed the personal and social resources you have to mobilize those demands. We shall talk in detail of what these physical, mental, and emotional reactions are. So stressful life situations are going to impact our mental health, okay? So what are these? They come in 3 categories, you know. We have biological issues, okay? Biological issues, things like chronic diseases or the genes that we carry, you know. Some of these things we have control, some of them we don't have control. For example, the genes that we carry. If we have a genetic predisposition to a mental health problem, that is beyond our control, you know, but we need to know that information, you know, because if we are genetically predisposed, then we are more likely, our mental health is more likely to move quickly from the green end to the red zone, okay? So we must have our stress management skills on our fingertips, you know, to quickly push our mental health back to the green zone, to the excellent zone, you know. So it's good to know your genetic predisposition, you know, so that you can protect yourself. So other biological things like diseases, you know, chronic diseases like cancer, you know, like HIV/AIDS, other things like alcohol and drug use we put in our bodies, you know, these things challenge our mental health. You know, they increase the chance that our mental health will move from the green zone to the red zone. Now, other things are social, you know, significant loss of loved ones, like we have lost people in the COVID-19 pandemic, suddenly, unexpectedly, you know, financial losses. You know, we have seen this happen to us in this pandemic. Marital conflicts. I'm sure you've all heard how domestic violence has increased in this pandemic period. You know, so these social issues, these social stresses, these difficult social circumstances, they impact our mental health, you know, and then the psychological issues, right? Psychological issues like stigma, you know, you may have an attribute and you're stigmatized because of that attribute, maybe because of your skin color, or maybe because of your size, you know, or maybe because of who you are. For example, we mental health professionals, people stigmatize us, you know, because of chosen that career path. You know, people view us in a negative way. People view mental health in a negative way. So, you know, all the professionals, all people who have dedicated their life to this career, we have to live with that stigma. So that is a stressor, you know, and it will push your mental health from the green zone to the red zone. And other psychological things like living in uncertainty, when you don't know what's going to happen next, you know, where life is leading us, you know, like what the COVID-19 pandemic has brought upon us. We have lived in uncertainty. We don't know when our children will go back to school. You know, for us in Uganda, our children have been out of school. Can you imagine that? So we're dead worried, you know, and we don't know what that, you know, holds for our children sitting at home for 2 years. How are they going to turn up? So we have all these thoughts, all these worries, and this pushes our mental health. And, you know, things like sexual abuse, emotional abuse, demotivation, you know, you're working hard, you're trying hard, but your boss is not appreciating you, or your boss is promoting someone else, you know, who's not working as hard as you are, or your boss is ignoring your efforts, you know, demotivation, you feel demotivated. That is stressful. Discrimination and fear, you know, all these are psychological issues that stress us and are going to push our mental health in the red zone. So I want to explain to you actually that when we go through these difficult circumstances, there is a physiological change in our body. Our bodies are changing in response to stressful life situations, okay? And these changes, when they're excessive, when they're, you know, excessive due to the chronic exposure to the difficult circumstances, we then get mental and physical problems. So our brains have an inbuilt mechanism to help us survive when we are faced with threats in life. And these difficult situations that come along our way, they threaten our lives. For example, when you have a conflict with your spouse, you know, you get thoughts like, oh my God, my husband is going to leave me. My wife is going to go away. What am I going to do? You know, when you have a child and the child is, you know, being rude and unruly, and then you're like, oh my God, what's happening to my baby? My baby never used to be like this. Is my baby doing drugs? Oh my God, my child is going to become addicted. Your life is threatened, you know? When you feel funny sensations in your body, you're like, oh my God, am I getting sick? Am I going to get a cancer? Oh no, I'm going to die. So whenever we get problems, our life is threatened. And so our brain has an inbuilt mechanism to respond when you're under threat, okay? And this mechanism is called the stress response reaction, okay? So when you're in stressful problems, the brain releases hormones, various chemicals that lead to the release of cortisol, which we refer to as the stress hormone in a layman's language, okay? So this cortisol then makes your body organs become active. You know, the heart pumps faster, so your heart it goes do, you know, to pump more blood in your various organs so that you can respond to this threat, okay? So when the threat goes away, for example, if you meet, you know, you meet what, a snake in your office, you're going to jump and take off, you know? So this cortisol enables you to, you know, prepare your body, you know, prepare your body to get, you know, enough energy so that you can run away from this snake that you have seen. And once you're in a safe place, then your brain will perceive you as, oh my God, now I'm fine. I'm now okay. I've run away from that snake. Woof, I'm now okay. So when you're okay and the brain perceives there is no threat, it then switches off this cortisol, okay? But now imagine you have a different problem. You are in an abusive relationship. Your spouse, your partner is hitting you every day. You're keeping quiet. You're afraid to speak out. You're afraid to share with anybody. Maybe you have nowhere else to go. You know, your network is constricted, you know? You have no one to open up to. So you stay in that environment where you're being abused. It's a chronic problem. So your body is reacting and cortisol is being released constantly. Your body is reacting, it's activated, fight this threat, but the threat is not going away. So what happens in the long run? The mechanism that switches off the cortisol becomes impaired. And so cortisol pours in your blood system, pours and pours, causes an excessive stress response reaction that ends up damaging your body. Okay, so that's what happens when we're experiencing these chronic, bad, stressful situations. And this abnormal stress response reaction damages your body organs, and including your brain, and will push your mental health to other red zone, and you end up with anxiety disorders. You end up with depression. So I also want you to understand that there is good stress and bad stress. So I've just given an example of a bad stress, yeah? But there's also good stress, and good stress will come from positive events. So positive events can happen in your life, like getting a new job, getting married, or winning a scholarship, or winning a financial award for your project. Wow, it is great. You feel good. You feel you have accomplished. Even though it comes with extra demands, you're going to be paying attention to so many things that have come as a result of this new thing in your life, but it's all positive. So you're having positive feelings, positive energy, and in the presence of good stress, the stress response reaction is just adequate. It is just adequate to give you the energy to perform better and to do well and to meet these new demands. Okay, so but when you have bad stress, when bad things are happening to you, you're in an abusive relationship, you become assaulted sexually, you're undergoing a divorce, you've lost your job, you're in a fatal accident, you've lost loved ones. These are negative things. And if you have so many negative things happening chronically, you're going to be experiencing bad stress, which leads to that excessive stress response reaction. So this is just to demonstrate to you what good stress would do. It will increase your performance. Okay, so when the stress in our lives is adequate, it's just optimum, and it's coming from positive events, that's okay. Our body reacts in a way to increase our performance. So performance goes up, as you can see on that curve, yeah? But when the stress becomes too much, especially you're loaded with these negative events, your performance will go down, you will burn out, you go in the red zone. And in the red zone, that's when you develop the mental disorders, okay? So we have to learn how to manage, stress. What do we do so that we do not get too much stress? We do not get a stress overload. This is our daily struggle. We have to manage stress to see that we're in the optimum, that we just have optimum stress. So this is what happens when you have that excessive stress response reaction. The cortisol will lead to increased blood sugar. You may get diabetes. It will increase your blood pressure. You may get hypertension. I've seen people with high blood pressure when they are facing very difficult circumstances. It may send you into depression. This excess cortisol will impair your immune system, so you're able to get infections easily. Okay, so these are the negative consequences, and the reason why we have to learn to manage stress, because we don't want to end up with all these physical problems. So how do you recognize bad stress? Okay, so when you say, oh, my boss stresses me, oh, my wife stresses me, you're really saying that you're experiencing more of these signs, you know, and I'm going to show you physical signs, emotional, and other mental signs or cognitive signs. So it means that you know, you're experiencing these bad feelings, you know. For example, you're having persistent headaches, you're feeling dizzy, you're lacking sleep, or you're sleeping too much, or you're lacking energy. You get up in the morning and you're already tired, you've not done anything, or you're having palpitations and body tremors. So those are the physical signs. Emotionally, you're going to be angry all the time, excessive anger. You're going to be getting annoyed easily. You're excessively irritable. You're overcritical. You complain about everything. You have a negative view of yourself and those around you, and you lack motivation to do things. And you may have a persistent low mood, and you may withdraw from your colleagues, what we call social withdrawal. Now, when you're stressed, when you're experiencing these difficult problems, your thinking automatically becomes negative, you know, and negative thinking styles lead to negative feelings, will lead to negative energy. So you have to know what negative thinking styles are. You have to be able to catch them and then change them. Okay. My presentation has gone off. Maybe it's a time to stop.
Yeah, we're just sorting that out now, Ethel. I'm just a bit mindful of time though, because it's nearly 9 o'clock in Kenya, as we know. So,
Okay.
as you are, but just we are conscious of time, please.
Okay, so let me wind up quickly. So this is the negative thinking that's not good. Don't label yourself, I'm a loser, I'm a failure. Don't think the worst of every situation. And, you know, don't fortune tell. You know, this is where you tell yourself things like, I'll never get a promotion. Like, you know what's going to happen in the future. All these are negative thinking styles. And they're not good. Okay, my pointer is not moving, so all right. Okay, so these are some of the cognitive signs. When you're stressed, you lose your memory. You know, you're forgetful. You can't focus on your work, and you also become indecisive. You can't make decisions. And if this gets worse, you may lose your rational thinking and start to have, you know, thoughts of, you know, wanting to take your own life, things like that. Now, most people, they cope in a negative way. You know, they may turn to alcohol and drugs. That is just going to push your mental health in the red zone. Now, also, if we don't know how to manage stress, then we move further, you know, on that spectrum. And in the red zone, and in the red zone, we have depression, we have anxiety, and, you know, this can manifest in various ways. And, you know, that's not good for our mental health. And when the worst comes to the worst complication is to have those feelings of wanting to take your own life. And when this happens, if a colleague expresses this to you, please handhold them and take them to a mental health professional. So quickly, let's go through how do we protect our mental health. Many people shared at the beginning or about, you know, the various things they do. You know, they were all excellent submissions. And I want to encourage you to keep up with that, promoting your well-being. I just want to mention briefly about stigma. You know, the negative view about mental health. This prevents people from seeking care. But, you know, getting knowledgeable, what we're doing right now in the evening, it helps us be able to overcome this stigma. So here are the things we do. Number one, we're doing it this evening. Knowledge is power. And we're here, we're getting knowledge about mental health, stress, and well-being. You cannot protect your mental health if you don't know what it is. And at least this evening, we have learned what it is. Number two, express your pain, okay? Open up about painful, disturbing experiences to close people that you trust. So those are the confiding relationships, you know, which we scored ourselves on. They are important for this purpose. because you just can't be opening up to everybody. No, because people will not respond in an appropriate way. And if you don't get the appropriate response, you don't get help. So you need to share with people that care about you. They're more likely to respond appropriately. And then also maybe with health professionals. Now, we need to nurture deep confiding relationships. For many years, I scored very poorly on this, thinking it's not important, but it is the most important for your well-being. The strongest buffer, the strongest protector of our mental health is our social connections and our support. And we need to put in time to build these relationships. We need to create positive experiences. I had people say, how they go out, how they do something different. This is very, very necessary that we create positive experiences to counteract negative thoughts that problems are causing us in our lives. So the more positive experiences you have, and the more positive mindset you have, and you can be able to push back the negative. So there are various ways to create positive thoughts. Positive self-talk is one of them. Visualize yourself succeeding. Hold those positive images in your mind. Practice acceptance. Don't compare yourself. Someone said it at the beginning, and learn to say no, and learn to delegate work. Don't hold so much work, because it will wear you down, and do good for others. These things, they serve to generate positive feelings. And this is what we need to overcome the negative that pushes our mental health in the red zone. Another technique is to have positive mantras. These are positive phrases you keep repeating to yourself. They will help you maintain a positive mind. All right. And spiritual care, somebody mentioned this in the beginning. Believe in a higher power and have faith in your higher power. So this helps us cast all our problems that we cannot handle to that higher power. So we're free of fear and anxiety. So please, in your daily schedules, schedule a spiritual activity. Okay, it is good for your well-being. And physical care activities, someone again mentioned this. It is very, very important because physical activity, again, releases hormones in your body, feel-good hormones that, promote your mental health, that make you stronger mentally. So they are important. And then, of course, we need to enhance our economic well-being. Poverty prevents self-care, my dears, okay? So we need to learn new skills. If we are doing well financially, then we also need to manage our finances, because many people get finances, but they don't know what to do with them, or they misuse them, okay? So economic well-being is very, very important for our mental health. And lastly, please seek professional help from trained counselors, psychologists, or psychiatrists. I want to leave you with this mantra: all is well right here and now. I am calm and peaceful, and I'm ready for change. Thank you so much for listening, people. I'm sorry I overshot the time, but it's been a great pleasure speaking to you. Thank you so much.
No, thank you so much. Thank you so much. And actually, we're going to offer a quick 5 or so minutes to see if anyone's got any questions. So if anyone's got any questions, you want to raise your hand, and we can get straight to you.
Thank you so much, Doc. We really appreciate you for all you have said. Thank you very much.
Thanks for that.
Yeah,
Moses.
Thank you, Doc. We really enjoyed your everything you have said. We really enjoyed it, and really it affects everything. You see, let me tell you the truth. When it comes to that relationship part, honestly, it really affected me one time. But I thank God for everything. So thank you so much. I'm fine, 100%.
Thank you, Jolie.
Hi, Dr. Ethel.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you, my dear?
I'm all right. I wanted to ask you something. Do you sometimes feel like sometimes as people we tend to over-diagnose ourselves with being stressed, whereas the case could be like me saying to my friend, "Oh my gosh, I'm so stressed today," but I'm actually just hungry or I'm actually just tired.
Okay, Doc, I want to ask a question. Now, this question is as people that have love for creating videos, that have passion for creating videos. Sometimes it's very difficult for us to really have a very free time for ourselves. So, and most of the time when we are sleeping, we're always thinking about the next content we want to create. So you see that our social life with people are always affected. And for most of us here, it is very difficult for us to even keep very close friends, except families that are available, because we are always we create videos. For me, I create videos indoors, so I'm always inside the house. And you can see that it's difficult for me to even go out. I stay indoors for like, let's say, a week or more. So at the time, it really affected my mental health, because I sometimes get so, what I would say, saturated and filled up that I have some kind of serious headache. And I think even when I try to stop, the next minute I'll say, okay, today I'm not doing anything. And you see that I'm also thinking of the next video to create. So by the time I started managing myself and giving myself that break because I know that videos, I must make videos. So I want to know, for some persons that are still coming up, they would encounter this, because the more you grow, the more you have passion for creating videos, and it becomes a lifestyle. Every day, most times I create like, let's say, 5-6 videos in a day, and we are upcoming creators. We pass through the shooting of the video, we edit it ourselves, so the workload is much. So how would someone, talk to your homie, I see you there, thank you. How would we try to, should I say, give that break? Is there an advice like we should develop, maybe watching movies, playing games? I don't know how would, for me, I found a solution for myself, because sometimes I just give myself that break. So I want you to like throw more light on how some persons, like someone stated that she can relate to what I'm saying. So what are we going to do if we find ourselves in this situation? And especially those of us making a living out of it. It's like your daily, what you earn a living from and have passion for. So
very good question. Very good question. Thank you so much. Symbol Zone. Thank you. Yeah, when you're talking, just think about my own career, and it's actually not different from yours. But let me first go to the lady who wondered whether people just overdiagnose stress and just throw the word there. Of course, people will just throw the word there when they feel some discomfort in their day-to-day life. That's why I defined it. That's why I defined it, so that we know what it actually is. So that you don't just use the word loosely, but you know what it means. So when to go to Symbol Zone, as you're speaking, I'm just thinking about my own life as well, where I am a clinician and a researcher. I see patients, but I also I have to do research. And when we do research, we have to write publications and put them in these scientific journals. You have to be writing and writing all the time, and you can stay indoors and all that and away from people. But when you have the knowledge that it is not good, you have to schedule it. If you have the knowledge that that kind of lifestyle is detrimental, is bad for your health, then you're motivated to do something about it. And that means you should schedule, you have to schedule, this recreation for yourself, for your own rejuvenation. Because when you're working, you're using the brain. The brain is getting tired. The brain needs time to rejuvenate. The brain rejuvenates when you have enough sleep, So you have to make that time. I mean, you have to schedule the time for sleep. You can't work overnight. It's not going to work, because soon you will not be thinking well, you'll not be performing well. So what you do, you have to schedule these recreation activities. That's number one. Number two, you have to learn to delegate. However good you are, it can't be you doing everything. You have to have a team. And by the way, this is something I learned when I went to the US to study, because I wondered, how do people, write all this research? And I discovered that one professor could have like up to 3 assistants. They had a team. And when I came back to Uganda, it is the first thing I did to create a team. It didn't matter that I didn't have enough finances. I had to get a team of people, and the little that I had, I shared with them, just so that I could get the work done without coming overstressed. So please, you have to learn to delegate and, create these teams that you work with. Work as a team so that you don't get overwhelmed. Otherwise, it's not going to be good for your mental health.
Thank you so much.
Hello.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
We're going to have one chance for one more question. One more question. So one more question, and then we're going to move on to the next bit, because I'm very conscious that it's late in certain sections. So I'm going to go. I know lots of people have got their hands raised, but we are going to go with Sandra. Sandra, you got your hand raised.
I honestly don't have any question right now.
All good. Because I can just see them up on my screen.
Brian Kenya has a question, I think.
Yeah, cool. One last question, and then we can.
Yeah, Brian is saying in the chat box, not having money, a single mom, no traffic on YouTube. I rarely get sleep, and having to work all the same time really stresses me each day. So Brianna is sharing her experience. You can see she's having financial difficulties, and she's a single mom, so she needs a lot of support. She needs a lot of support. She needs you can join a support group, to brainstorm with other people, to see how other people are coping, because you could learn from them. You could be guided by a counselor, how to navigate your life situation, so that you can, overcome some of this stress you are feeling. Don't be shy to visit a professional counselors, and because they will share with you positive coping skills, and how to cope with life situations, and also to have someone to journey with is very important. So don't feel shy to reach out to a counselor or to anybody, or open up about your situation to close loved ones. They may move to support you. In support, we get information. You can get information support. You can get emotional support. You can get tangible support. You may need something, and somebody else has it. But if they don't know what you're going through, how will they move to help you? So don't be afraid to open up, because that's when people move in to help you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Ethel. Thank you so much. I'm gonna have to wind this down because of just the amount of time that we've got. But seriously, I think everyone here can sort of say thank you so much for taking us through that, and actually not cutting off short, because actually part of the presentation was all about connections and finding strength within one another. So that actually leads us nicely onto our next section. So what we're actually going to do is provide you with an opportunity to meet someone new, and you're going to jump on separate breakout calls and actually discuss questions around well-being, but also our theme of storytelling. So you're going to have one member of the YouTube team present with you to take you through each of those questions. We've got 20 minutes for each question for the total group. We've got 4 questions in total. We know that we're not going to be able to see everyone. There's like 160 odd people on this call, but we did send you out a lookbook at the beginning of or just before the event. So make sure you go through that lookbook to find everyone's profiles, or read other people's profiles if you want to reach out and connect. Any questions before we start breaking out? And actually, one thing I might just remind myself on is you're going to get a little notification which says join breakout, and that will assign you your breakout. So once you see that notification, literally any second now, make sure you click join breakout, otherwise you'll remain in the main call. So when you see it, click it. No questions? Yeah, let's do it. Everyone click join breakout.
What's your homie? I see you. Microphone here. Can anyone hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, bro.
Hello, guys.
Hello.
I think this is the breakout room.
Yeah, good day.
So I'm sure this room will be possibly for us to like connect with ourselves. I think that's probably part of the reason.
I think your microphone is bad.
My microphone?
No, yours is fine, Sibol. It's talk to your homie. I think we are getting a home feedback from you. Yeah. Are you on an earpiece?
I am.
Okay, it's better now. You just took it off. It's better now.
Better now.
No, I think you connected it back. It's still having problems.
You can hear me now, yeah?
Yeah, pretty better. Yeah, we can hear you. It's clear.
Okay.
Hello,
Since
everyone.
we are like 7 persons here.
Okay.
So I'm seeing Selu Musa Sambo, Entertainment Avenue, myself, Symbol Zone, Nyasha Duri, and Talk to Your Homie TV, Vivian Okeke. So I'm sure everybody